So the first thing we want to do is go to your terminal and create a new folder. I've already created one. Then we're going to run this command, go to the root of it and run this command, go mod init github.com / your username. And then I'm going to call this project this CLI. So this will create a go mod. It's just a module. So the first directory we're going to create is called one hello world. Create it like that. And inside here, we're going to create our main.go. And then this is going to be the first program that we actually create just to get our hands dirty. And every new main file or every new section, we're going to run manually and create a new main.go just so we get the feel and get the hang of run and go and making go files and run and go commands. So package main, and then we're not going to import, we're just going to let it import itself, and it's a main func. And then we're going to say fmt, and this will import the correct package. And we're going to say print line, and we're going to say hello CLI. And I actually should have put the name instead of hello world, hello CLI. Then we want to go and run that. Go say go run main.go. And we'll get hello CLI at the bottom of the screen. All right. So now we're going to move on and we're going to create a new folder called one basic. Oh, this other one should have been 0. That's fine. I can change it now. Data types. Let me change that now. And then create a main.go again. Main.go. And do the same thing. Package main. Now that you wrote it, you can just start importing it. You can do it. You can get inside. You can let it import on its own. And the first thing we want to do, we don't actually want to create the main.go inside of here yet, because we're going to have a lot of different basics. We want to create one called one basic types. Just follow me. I know it may not make sense, but just keep following me. Main.go. Let's close this out. And then we want to package main, func main. The first one is going to be an integer. So in Go provides several built-in types categorized as numeric, string, and Boolean. And so the first one we'll create is the numeric type, integer, and then we'll say var x int equals 10. And then we'll say fmt dot print line. And then we'll do x. And this will give us an output of 10. So we want to come here, we want to cd up, go inside of here, and go inside of that basic, the first folder, and go run main.go. And we'll get 10. The next one we want to run is floating point. And we'll say var pi float 64 equals 3.14159. And then we'll say fmt print pi. And of course, this will give us pi. Put will equals this 3.14159. And run main.go. And we'll get that new number. And these are just simple, but again, I'm going over all of the basics, so we won't have any stones uncovered or unturned, whatever the word is called. So complex numbers. So you can read more about it. Again, it was something new for me. I wasn't aware of it. Complex 128 equals complex. And you would assume that you use this, but we go with this. And then we say 1 and 2. And then ft dot print line z. And this will print out put equals plus 2. And so now we run that. Go run main.go. Oh, go run main.go. And to I. Okay. And so now we move on to string. And this is a var message equals var message string equals hello CLI. And then again, FMT. And you already know what this is. I'm not going to waste time doing that. Go run main.go. And we get that printed out. And the last one is the bool. Var active bool equals true. FMT print line active. And we get true. So that concludes the basics. Next one is going to be constants. So you want to write inside of this basic folder, we'll say to constant. Close that up and we give it a main.go. Let me close up some stuff over here in my other screen. It's confusing me. And we want to do the same thing. So package main func main. And then we want to say const version. Yeah, so version 1.0.10. And then we say FMT print line version. We want to cd up and then go to constants and then go run main.go. And we get that. All right, so that was really simple. We're going to create a new one called variables. Package main, func main. And I want to create var count. So this is one way of doing it. You say var count int, and then this FMT print line count. Go run main.go. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Oh, variables. All right, and we get 0. And the reason why is because it's default initialized to 0 if we don't add a value. All right, so we're going to say files, and we're going to do this colon equals, and we'll say 5. And now we're going to say FMT print line and files. And so what that does is just it's assigning 5 to files. So it's similar to doing count, this var, but you can do it files. You can do it this way here. So now we're going to go on to the next section. Can I create create a new folder here. And this is for control structures. The first one we want to create is if. I'm just going to say if testing. Main.go. I keep want to call it main for some reason. But we're going to first say package main. Func main. And we want to say file path. This colon flag. And we import the flag dot string. And we want to say file. Leave it blank. And then path to the file. So this is just a default, like it could be anything here to be honest with you. Flag.parse. And then we say if the path to this file equals blank, and fmt print line error, no file path provided. Did I spell that right? Provided. Yes, I did. And then we're going to do os.exit1. Let's come this way. And we're going to exit with a 1. And then we're going to say if, and we don't need the first thing that comes from this, but we do need the error. And then we're going to say os.stat, and the file path os.isNot exist. Then we get the error from that. And then fmt print line error, file does not exist. And then we want to do the path, the path to that file path. Else, we want to just print out that file path. And then we say file exists. File path. And then inside of here, we want to create some random config.yaml. And we can just say app name, sample app, version 1.1.0.0. And this could be anything. I'm just doing this here. Settings, debug, true. Max connections, and all of this is to lead us up to creating our own CLI tool that will read a config file and scan it to see if there's any vulnerabilities. Well, to scan it to see if there's any hard-coded values that shouldn't be there. So this is just exercises to like build us up to that point. 30. And then log file, logs app.log. And so now we need to cd to our path, control, and then go run main.go. And so no file path provided, of course. But if we do give it with a file path, we'll say go run main.go, file equals, and then config.yaml. And then we'll see file exists, and it'll print us out there. So now the next thing we want to do is do another folder. For our next one is called if else, which we kind of already done if else, but we're going to take it a little bit further, okay? So if else, let's close this off. Go. Package main. Func main. And then we say verbose colon equals flag dot bool. And then we say verbose. Again, these can be anything to start. We're just initializing it. False to start. Enable verbose output. And flag.parse. And then we say if verbose, then we want to fmt.print verbose mode enabled detailed logs here. Else fmt.print verbose mode disabled showing minimal logs. Say go cd backup, and we'll say if else, and then we'll say go run main.go verbose. And so it's enabled, and if we don't run it with the verbose disabled showing minimal logs. So that's why we run that. Okay. Next, we want to run a switch statement. So we call it switch. Main.go. Let me close out some of this stuff. And we do need 2 other files, but we'll put those in a minute. Package main, func main, and then we'll say file path, colon equals the same thing that we ran earlier. So you can actually copy that code, but just to get our muscle memory going, you might want to just write it again. File path to file to the file. All right, flag.parse. And then we want to say switch. And it's similar to how you do switch in any other language. Say case strings dot has suffix. And what we're doing is we're seeing that if the file that we'll be creating, we'll be creating 2 files. If it ends with a YAML or like a short form of YAML, then we'll do this. Or if it has a JSON file, then we'll do that. Or we'll do a default. So the file, so we do reference to that file path. And then we want to say YAML, right? I think I'm missing, no, I'm not. And then we say strings dot has suffix, and then we'll do file path again, and we'll say short form YAML, and then we'll end it with that, and we'll say fmt print line, and we'll say processing YAML file, and then file path. Case strings dot has suffix. It's the same thing. This would be for JSON. Yes. Okay. So we'll say file path, and then we'll say JSON. Does it need to be? No, it's gonna be lowercase. You could do 2 of them, but I'm only gonna do 1 for this one. FMT print process in JSON file, and then the file path to that. Then the last case, default, and then we'll say FMT print unsupported. Did I spell it right? Unsupported, yeah. File type. And then we'll print out the file path for that. All right. So now we come in and we go CD up to switch. And then the first one we want to run is run main, go run main.go. And then we want to pass in the file. Oh, we didn't create our files. My apologies. So we can just copy the other one from the first one. Could just duplicate that. And then for the JSON, if you want to, you can go to a JSON YAML converter, but I already have it, so that JSON. And then we will copy this in. I'm not going to type all of this. It's not that important. And all of the code will be in the description, so you can, in my GitHub, so you can get it from there. If you want to type this out, you can, but it's not really important. All right, so now we want to pass in a config.yaml and processing YAML file. And it gives us the file path. Did I do something wrong? Yes, I did. It's not this. Okay, there we go. And then so now we want to say go run main.go file, and then we pass in the config.json, and it's processing the JSON file. And then if I just don't pass anything in, it'll give us a default unsupported file type. Now, the fourth one is the loops, the basic loops. Basic loop, main.go. We say package main, func main. And then we're going to say for I, :equal 0. And this is very similar to any other for loop in any other language. I++. I can't write I++. And then you're just going to say fmt.print. We're going to do printf this time. We're going to say scanning files %d. Then we're going to inline in that line, and then we'll do the I+1, and then CD up, go into the for loop, and then go run main.go, and we'll get the print statements out for that. And we want to now create a new one for range. So this is a range loop. Can I spell? Main.go. So let me read some. So the basic for loop is the most versatile looping construct in Go. It works similar to for loops in other programming languages like C or Python. This loop is commonly used when you know the exact number of iterations you need to perform, or when iterating based on a condition. So that's when you use a basic for loop. The range loop, the range keyword in Go simplifies iteration over collections like arrays, slices, map, strings, and channels. We'll go into those a little bit later. It automatically provides the index and the value for each element in the collection, making it ideal for iterating over dynamic or predefined collections of data. So as this says, the difference between a basic loop is you use the basic loop when you already when you already have like a predefined set of numbers iterations, and you use the range loop when you want to use a dynamic form. So if you want to iterate over the number that's defined in the collection without you having to define it. So now we want to come in, we want to say package main func main, and this is going to be the last one. I have to step away, but I will be back. We'll say files, and we'll create an array of string, and we'll give it main.go. Can't spell go, man. And then we'll give it another config.yaml. So these could be anything. It's just I'm making an array of just some random stuff. Config.json. And then we want to say for index file in the range of files, which is the array. So now we're using the range, and this is dynamic because we're iterating over the range of what's in this array. So 0, 1, 2. And then we want to say fmt dot print. We're doing printf this time again. Printf, and we'll say file %d %s, and then we inline. Then we do the index +1, and then we do the file. And so now cd up to that's folder and go run main.go. And now we'll iterate over those. So let's quickly do this last one for this section, which is the infinite loop. An infinite loop is a loop that runs indefinitely or until an explicit conditions break it. Condition breaks it. This loop is often used in server applications, event-driven systems, or scenarios where condition processing or monitoring is required. So in other languages, you have like a do while loop or like a while loop. This is what that is. You have some condition that you want the loop to continue doing until it meets some condition. So we want to create that, and we'll say indefinite loop. Definite loop. I think I spelled that wrong. Let me check. Yeah, I think it's right. That's fine. So we're going to say main.go, package main, func main, and then we want to say a count. So this is going to be our condition variable. Count, going to initialize it to be 0, and then we're going to say for, and then we do a condition inside. If count equals 3, then we'll fmt dot something happened. Fmt dot print finished processing, and then we'll break the loop. Fmt dot print line, and we'll say processing. So it'll continue going until the count is looped. And so we want to iterate the count, increment the count. My apologies. Cd up, go run main.go. Cool. And so we went over it 3 times, and then it finished processing. So that was it for the basic section. we went through the basic types, the constants, variables, control structures with ifs, if else, switch statements, the basic for loop, the range loop, and the indefinite loop. In the next video, we will go over functions, and then after that, we'll continue on with methods, and then we'll go into composite types, which will include arrays, slices, and whatever else is within a composite type. All right. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.